What's up, YouTube fam? It's the #1 boomer, and I hope you guys are doing well. All you ladies and gents out there, hope your holidays have been just wonderful to you. Hope you've been able to relax, unwind, just all those things that you felt like maybe you needed to do. I hope it worked out for you, and I hope you're doing well. All right, so RandoNautica. This particular video that I'm about to do it's a bit odd because I didn't anticipate doing having this particular take on it. When I went into this video, I was looking for something, and I think that it occurred and it delivered in one regard, but in the other regard, I think it may have it has caused a dilemma. I did a video of this a couple of nights ago, and while I was doing the actual video and analyzing it, I realized that maybe it was a bit deeper than what I had anticipated. And so I just took a step back to just reassess what it is that was on my mind and what it is maybe that I encountered and found. So it was twofold. I guess going into this, I was looking to see if there were a lighter side to RandoNautica. A lot of what we see on YouTube typically is the dark side. I see people, just searching for dark things, whether it's satanic things or just spooky things, just spiritually, just demonic type activities. And I get it. I mean, it's it gets views and it can be exciting in a way, but I guess again I was looking for maybe a lighter side, more positive side to it when I went on this particular mission, and again I think it delivered that, but it left, I don't even know how to put this into words, but it certainly left me thinking and wondering what all it was that I actually stumbled upon. So without further ado, I guess I'll just get right into the video, into the footage, and let you decide, because I need to make a decision about the next step, what I may do in regard to what happened on this particular mission. But let's get into it. Okay, now before we get into this, let me just give this information. This particular mission had a Z-score of 4, and it had a power anomaly rating of 6.6. So it was when you start getting around 5 or more, my understanding is that it becomes more significant. I think I've seen maybe some information that has suggested or seen power scores as high, maybe it's in the 20s. So, but just to give you some context here, so this is 6.6 power, anomaly power, and Z score is 4, and the intent, I actually had an intent on this one. The intent was spiritual enlightenment. That was the intent that I had going into this. So right before you hit some footage, I think I'm gonna just narrate and let the footage kind of play and just kind of narrate over it and not necessarily compete with what I'm saying in the actual video. But this is me arriving at the location, and I chose to do this mission because it appeared to be fairly safe, a fairly safe location. As you can see here, there's a marina. This is, you know, a pretty nice lake area. I felt pretty safe. There was the actual location was in a field that was right next to an apartment complex, you know, a nice apartment complex. And as you can see here, some clips of the marina here. You can see there's nothing, you know, some, you know, decent cars. There's nothing alarming or any reason for concern. Like I said, for just, it's not a poor area. It wasn't any place that I thought that I felt my safety was in jeopardy, and that a lot of nefarious activity was going on. And I'm pulling, like I said, I'm pulling into the spot. And just to let you know, side note, this camera's all up in my face. I'm still working with it. You see this stuff in my nose? That's actually, I'm the #1 boomer. I've got gray hairs all up in my nose. So that's what you're seeing. You're seeing gray hair all up in my nose. It's not other stuff. So I just wanted to let y'all know that before we moved on further. I needed to clear that up. All right, so I'm gonna let this go, and I may actually let some of the video play just with me talking as well too. And I should have had this pulled up a little bit better. Thought I did, but all right, this is the next clip here. Okay, so this is the video here. I'm arriving at the site. As you can see, this is the field. It's pretty thick. It was pretty thick getting through this. Pretty tough. A lot of thorns, a lot of just real thick brush going through this. Okay, guys, this is it. It looks like the point. I'm gonna have to navigate through this thicket. And just so you know, I knew it was a field when I was, you know, I knew that this destination was going to be in the field, and I actually brought a shovel, and I actually brought a metal detector. I was thinking that the field, I was hoping that the field was going to be kept, and it would be, you know, I wouldn't have to fight through this, and you know, I could be able to use my metal detector. If I didn't necessarily see anything, I would start sweeping the area, just see if, you know, if there was something maybe buried in the ground that you know, I would uncover. But it's, you can see here is kayaks, and you can see the lake and whatnot. So safety is not a concern for me. You know, like I said, this wasn't someplace that was just isolated. There's a lot of activity fairly close, you know, right next to this field with this apartment complex. So, you know, if I needed help, I felt like I could just easily have yelled, you know, help, you know, and people would have heard me and see me, because I could see some people or hear people out on the balconies, you know, from the apartment nearby, you know, just talking and just normal stuff. So it wasn't a very isolated area per se, but this field was very thick. You know, it's not a place that, as I, you know, made my way through, it's not like there was hiking trails through it. It was a bit too thick for that, and I could tell once I got further and further into it that, you know, it was just animal trails that were going through it, probably deer trails, definitely rabbits and deer and stuff like that, but not necessarily, you know, human trails. But I'm gonna let it go.
See, there's kayaks, canoes, there's a lake over there. But the point is, it's in there. So, looks like there's a little trail here. Let me zoom out just a little bit, maybe. And see what, it's winter time, so shouldn't be any snakes out per se. I'm gonna make my way through. I'm not sure what.
I found this very odd. I'm going to say, and I hate to just keep interrupting, but this kind of reminded me of the similar situation of my previous video where, you know, I arrived at the location and I saw, you know, the tree that had fallen over the stream area, and it was acting like a, you know, a bridge. To me, it just stood out as to, all right, you need to cross this. Same feeling I was getting here when I saw these two stumps kind of just there. It just seemed like a signal and an identifier to let me know, okay, this is the way you need to go. So that's, you know, starting to be the feel that I'm getting, you know, as I'm starting to get closer and working my way to the site, is I'm being led. I'm being giving mark, you know, just hints and clear identifiers to me to which direction to go.
It's kind of odd here, these sticks, those stumps there. Okay. I'm going to switch to my map and see. I'm going to the thorns. Okay.
I think that's
switch
gonna
to my map.
I think that's gonna do it for that clip there. But it started getting very, you know, very thicker and thicker. And the more I got into it, the more I could tell that it wasn't, that those were animal trails and not human trails. Let me see here.
Okay, guys, it looks like I need to go up.
So I'm still making my way through. And these thorns were a killer in some of these spots.
You know, maybe some walking trail. I'm not sure if these are deer trails going through here, but I need to make my way. Looks like it may is top of the hill up here. It's like a clearing or something, or it kind of levels out.
Okay, now this is where things start getting,
Man, there's a
bit interesting.
A lot of thorns here. At least I did wear some pants this time. And some boots. The thorns are...
Alright, I think it's the next...
Let me fight through this and I'll get right back.
Alright, so let me go to my next clip and...
Okay, I think I made it to the spot.
Alright, here we are.
I'm not sure. At least I'm in the area. The RandoNautica, I kind of accidentally toggled it.
As you can see,
so
I want to just, let me turn the volume down here. And I didn't feel any particular, negativity when I was here. But as you can see, and, I wasn't spooked or anything of that nature.
Okay, I think I made it to the spot.
But as you can see, there's a pile of stones here, which made me believe, after more analyzing of the video, that something or someone is buried here. And I'm not sure why I wasn't, I didn't just hyper focus on it per se. I think because the actual mark was, the RandoNautica destination was still a little bit, a few yards. It seemed like it was maybe 50 yards or more away still. So I think I was just hyper focused on getting to that particular point first. And that, along with the, my intention going in was spiritual enlightenment. So, I wasn't really looking for anything dark, and I wasn't in that type of mindset to say, to even be, just thinking anything negative when I saw this. As strange as that sounds. But sure enough, there appears to be almost a grave. Something's buried here. And this tree almost seems like, it's like the headstone. And it's the headstone of this burial location. It didn't, this pile of rocks per se didn't necessarily seem to be long enough to be an adult human body per se. At least I don't think, so I kind of maybe was also chalking it up to it potentially just being a place where somebody maybe came and buried, I don't know, maybe buried a dog or something, and just put some stones here. But maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was, a person that was buried there. And these rocks that are here don't necessarily appear to be, they don't appear to be something that's like super old. Like something that I would say had been there since, the 1920s or something. It doesn't. It seemed more recent, a lot more recent than that. It seemed like, if I were to guess, maybe this had been done within 5 to 10 years, probably within 5 years. So fairly, somewhat recent, but like I said, maybe 5 to 10 year range is what I would say. This pile of rocks, just how long it looked like it had been there. So I guess that's, this was the disturbing part of it. I continued to push on after this on up to the spot, and I'll let you know what I found up there later. But please let me know in the comments just what you think about this. I mean, it's kind of disturbing now that I go back to see this, and the fact that something is buried here. And I'm torn between, I feel like I was led to this particular location for a reason. I don't know if I should report this to the authorities or just let it be. I don't want to overthink or overanalyze anything. So like I said, in the comments, just let me know your thoughts on what you think is going on here, what has transpired here. If someone is buried here, someone put the effort in to to make it somewhat decent, I would say. It it doesn't appear to be anything. If it was something nefarious per se, I wouldn't think that someone would take the time to to put all these stones here to mark where someone was buried per se. But you never know. You don't know if someone. I mean, they could have. They could have, a child or something, or someone could have died in the apartments next door or something at some point in time. They never reported their death or whatever. They took the body out, buried it per se here, and just to bury them. I don't know. But I'm struggling to just figure out what I should do. If I should call the authorities, just let them know, let them come out, dig it up, and if it's a dog, if it's a cat, if it's nothing, let them just deal with it. But there's the other side of me that just is a little hesitant to get involved in something like that. But I think I may end up going out there, revisiting the spot, and calling the authorities just to let them know that there appears to be something just a bit odd here, and if they want to investigate it, that's fine. And just let them. And maybe that was what the reason I was brought to this location, to let people know, to give some closure, or like I said, I don't know what this means, but it could mean somebody. It could mean something to someone to know that their loved one was found. Maybe they've been missing or something, and they've now been found and can provide some closure or something. But it may not be any of that at all, and maybe I'm just hyper thinking it. It just could be just a random pile of rocks. It just doesn't look random. Like I said, this tree looks like is serving as a headstone somewhat, and then the rocks are out of place. It looks like it's purposefully done there. So I think I'm gonna just leave that part here, and like I said, just let me know what your thoughts are on it in the comments. All right. So, I'm gonna just fast forward past this, because again, I pushed on past this point, probably 50 or so yards on up, and there was this tree
and a cluster of,
let me see,
thorns. Get it up here.
And this is getting to, we're switching gears now, it seems like, to a more positive side of this mission, to
just looking around.
And again, I'll let you be the judge.
Very spiritual. I'm not really seeing anything that stands out
other than the grave we just talked about, or whatever it was, the pile of rocks
per se, other than, as you can see, I'm in a cluster of thorns, and this magnificent view. The breeze is blowing. This is a magnificent view here. I asked for spiritual enlightenment. I mean, if you were going to meditate, this would be a good place to meditate. I would say that.
And I think at this point I'm just trying to get as much positivity, as much positive just energy out of this mission as I could after stumbling upon that grave. But maybe I'm reaching. Maybe I was probably reaching.
I don't think there's a quicker way out
at this point.
So maybe this is a meditation spot. Maybe a ley line. I don't know if you perchance are interested or know of those things, but you hear talking about ley lines, which are apparently spiritual, like power grids within the earth. And maybe, who knows, maybe this is a significant ley line or point regarding something like that. So all right, fam, so there was nothing, doesn't appear to be anything creepy going on about this, just serenity. Sun shining, nice breeze blowing, and a beautiful view of the river. So like I said, I'm going to meditate here for a few minutes and I'll get back.
And as you can see, this particular location that this tree seemed to be marking that I eventually made it to, it just seemed like it was perfectly in the middle of that field with this just perfect view, and it was just very peaceful. I know what this is. It's odd that something's, I don't know, the two extremes have happened at this point. I stumbled upon a grave, and then as I made my way to the actual center location, that RandoNautica was just a few yards, I'd say 50 yards away. There's this actual just wonderful serene spot in view, this meditation point almost. And let me see here, let me turn this volume down. Now after this, I meditated there for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and this is something pretty awesome that came out of this, and you tell me what you're feeling. But on the way up, let me see here,
I don't know, rock here, like a quartz rock or some type of white rock or crystal here. I'm not quite sure what it is. Thought that was kind of neat. For those who aren't into crystals and frequency and vibration and things like that, or those that are into that, you'll kind of know.
And I apologize for the camera angle.
The significance.
I'm trying to do better next time.
So let me back up a little bit. But as you can see, this is where.
So I guess pretty much what I was saying is between the point where that possibly grave was, and as I made my way to this central location, there along the pathway there was a rock that was just so apparent that I couldn't ignore it. I reached down, I picked it up, and I kept it, and it ended up being a quartz.
I don't know. Rock here.
A quartz rock, milky quartz, snow quartz. I guess it goes by different names if I'm not mistaken here. Let me see here. Milky quartz crystal. Benefits, AI. Let's go. Let's see what AI is. But for those who are into just the spiritual side of things, we get into vibration and frequency and things of that nature. But this milky quartz rock, or snow quartz, or white quartz, is known for its stabilizing energy. You can see here, promotes emotional balance and mental clarity. There's other, here's other descriptions of it. Emotional balance, known for its ability to soothe anxiety and stabilize emotional turmoil. It is believed to help users move past victimhood and foster inner peace. Mental clarity, promotes concentration and memory recall. It is often referred to as a study stone for students because it helps filter distractions and retain information. Physical wellness, practitioners believe it boosts immune function and aids in detoxification. It is also traditionally used to soothe burns and to alleviate skin disorder. Spiritual growth, frequently associated with the crown chakra. This is pretty powerful when you start talking about the crown chakra. It is used to enhance intuition and connect with higher consciousness. Relationship support, encourages cooperation, kindness, empathy, interpersonal relationships, and sometimes called the stone of maternal love. So there are many spiritual properties that are associated with this particular stone. And I want to say here, I'll move this to the side. I think we're done with this. So I ended up finding this crystal, and let me show you what happened. I took this crystal home. I brought it back with me. And I cleaned it. I did what any good randonaut would do upon finding a milky quartz or snow quartz or white quartz crystal. I brought it home. I cleaned it. I'm gonna fast forward through. I cleaned it. This was a shot of it, after I've cleaned it. Look at the little glimmer off of that thing. It was, so this is a pretty powerful, when you're looking at spiritual things. And like I said, I went into this with the spiritual, the intent of spiritual enlightenment. So, I found this wonderful crystal. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to just show you some more images of it. I took this crystal, I shaped this crystal. Now you can see I've smoothed it, I've shaped it. This is the first time I've done anything remotely like this. But I tried to get the proper tools to, I did some research and to figure out, what I could do to I guess bring this stone out and just amplify it and just make it mine, I guess. So this is a picture of it after it's been shaped a bit. I'm going to show you some more shots. Okay, so this is another picture of it. Okay, I think most of these are pictures here. So this is after I've shaped it with a diamond bit, a diamond Dremel bit, shaped it. And I try to smooth it out, and then I started polishing it. And look at this thing, oh my goodness, it just turned into just a beautiful, it's like a little droplet of pure ice, like a little ice crystal. I mean, this thing just started, and I took this thing through like a 20-step polishing process. Again, it's the first time I've done anything like that. I'm sure I could have done better. And I think that moving forward, this is something I'm actually going to was pretty neat, just start doing on a regular basis. Let me see if I can get some more pictures. Here's this, but here's some more shots of it as I continue to polish it. It's just, like I said, this thing just turned out to be absolutely stunning, in my opinion. Some more shots. All right, this was it. And after I got done with it, I found a crystal necklace holder, put it in there. As you can see, I mean, it was just awesome. Some more, another picture of it, another shot of it. So that's the positive, I guess, potential, the just getting to the meditation point or site, which seemed to be, I mean, just with the beautiful view, finding this powerful crystal along the way. I mean, this was a tremendous find to me, because I'm kind of into things like this, so it was just, a magnificent find. But on the flip side, the grave, and just, or if it was a grave, I think it was, what kind of grave, I don't know, but that side to it. So I don't know how these two things, seemingly so different, and I'm not so sure. Like I said, at that location, I wasn't getting a negative vibe or anything like that, even though I did encounter that, little grave or whatnot. I just wasn't getting a dark vibe. And then for me to find such a powerful crystal and wonderful, find such as this, and the view, and it, I don't know what it all means. I really don't. So, but anyway, this crystal this is something that I'm going to be wearing. Just, it's going to just mark just a memorable time in my life, of one of my adventures, and hopefully, it'll, maybe it's something that, I'm supposed to keep on me. I really do. And just to help me, along my journey in life, to, just to give me a little extra something to, to make things, to make my journey a little easier. So I don't have it on me now. I actually have it outside charging in the moonlight. And I need to go and get that. But so, like I said, this was a very odd mission, very extremes, this, with the stone and then the grave. I mean, I don't know. It was kind of a roller coaster there. So, just let me know in the comments what you think, though. I think maybe I'm going to bring this to an end. I've been yapping long enough. Hopefully you got something out of this. It just, I don't know. And maybe you can help me also figure out and leave some comments on what you think I should do, just in regard to the maybe possible grave that I found. Should I notify the authorities, or should I not? Should I just mind my business and just keep it moving? I just don't know at the moment what really step I should take on that. So, but anyway, I appreciate y'all stopping in, spending time with the old man. I really do. Like I said, be sure to comment, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and peace. I love y'all, man. I'm out of here. Looking through my eyes, shoot for high.